Hey, Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. That's my pen name that I use here at LOL Sober. I saw an old interview the other day with Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he was talking about the song Under the Bridge. And he was describing like how he wrote that song, and he was describing how it was this snapshot of him one day many years ago going with a friend to score some drugs, and they ended up under a bridge, high with a bunch of other drug addicts, all as a shooting gallery basically. And I was struck by how he described that scene as incredibly lonely. And it made me think about the definition of loneliness, which for me is one of the most deadly and dangerous things in my life. I cannot be lonely. I can't spend much time in that lonely zone. And what he was describing was being lonely while surrounded by a lot of people. He wasn't just by himself. And I have this visual of me from 2005 to 2008 or so, really at my peak of drug addiction. I was alone in this dark room late at night, drunk and high. My whole life was a lie, one big secret I was keeping from everybody. And I was all by myself, literally, except I had two of my cats that would always hang out with me. God knows what they must have thought as they looked at their dad passed out. I remember sitting in that, it was my guest bedroom many nights, and I would say, like, this is the last time. I can't do this. I can't keep doing this. I have to stop. And it is a picture of extreme loneliness, and it's true. It happened. That absolutely is how hundreds of nights ended for me. And I did feel alone, very much alone. Then I contrast that visual with what happened when I went to rehab and got sober. I picture all those people hugging me, cheering me on, telling me they love me. And again, that happened. It absolutely happened. Those are real images in my head because they actually happened. Those visuals are also incredibly valuable to my sobriety because one shows how my life looks if I pick up a drink or a drug. The other shows the exact moments when my life changed and I knew I did not have to drink or drug anymore. But here's the thing about those pictures, neither one is the whole truth. Because in that first image of me alone, my wife and kids were in other parts of the house. I still had a job. I still had good friends, a loving family. Were they fed up with my behavior? Yeah, a lot of them were. But they were still in my life. They still gave me birthday presents. They invited me over for Christmas. So my addictions were pushing me away from them, which also means my loneliness, it was a choice that I made every day, And in the second image, it is true that I suddenly found an army of people to support my new sober life, and they did. But I also had moments where I found myself at the edge of the herd, not sharing at meetings, not going to meetings very often. And sometimes I'd take a week off from talking to my sponsor or anybody else in the program. And I was sober and still felt lonely. And I also, honestly, going to parties and holiday gatherings and work meetings without any liquid courage running through my system, it was hard. It was hard to like relearn how to deal with people. And it's a totally different ballgame to hang out with people and converse with them and pay attention and be with them and be present if you don't have a buzz going. And I didn't have a buzz going when I got sober. So I had moments where I felt awkward and sometimes it was easier just to avoid people. And suddenly I discovered, oh my God, like you can be lonely in sobriety too. Holy crap. But I also, as I was listening to that interview, I was thinking there's one common theme among those two definitions of loneliness in my head, that because in both cases, when I was lonely, it was usually because I was choosing to be lonely. I love time to myself. I find it healing, but that's solitude. I think that's my definition of solitude, which I consider different from isolation and loneliness. I can't get lonely. I have all the tools to avoid loneliness. I just have to utilize them. And I don't always want to do that. There's a version of me that is sober but goes to my daughter's field hockey games, and I sit 50 feet away from everybody else so that nobody bothers me. And there's a version of me that sometimes stays up way too late just so I can sit by myself and watch TV and nobody will steal the remote from me. But that version of me isn't actually very happy. There isn't enough connection, and I need connection to stay sober and keep growing. That's the key. I could probably be lonely and not drink, but I won't grow. And I want to keep growing. I want to try to get better every day. So today I'm gonna throw on a little Under the Bridge. I'll probably play it a little too loud. I like that song a lot. I like the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I'll throw that on, make a few calls to sober friends. I'll sit 6 feet away from people instead of 50 feet away. And maybe I'll pet my cats a little bit more than usual. They've stuck with me through a lot of this. So thanks for letting me share.